So in this chapter, we will show you how to add a Modbus TCP master. To start this, we're going to go to our master and we're going to open our hardware and then our station 1. As you can see, it already starts off a little different because we're going to add a hardware module here instead of a software module. So we're going to right click on station 1, go new, and then select hardware module. Then here search for the MBM201 module. This is the Modbus Master module. And as you can see, it looks like adding your general hardware cards. So select a slot number and a card number. Since it is never a physical card, you can put it on a slot number that is not even there. So I'm going to put it at 15 in my case. Even though the card is physically not there, the mode needs to be on real. Here we have optional node. We turn that on again to make sure that if there's no connection, the CPU doesn't go into error. Then down here we have the slave IP and we fill it in, which is 192.0.1.230, as you can see here on the left. And then if we click on MBM1, here we can select which protocol we're using. In this case, we're already using Modbus TCP, so nothing needs to be changed here. We select finish, and after that, just like any other hardware card, we need to reboot the CPU. Okay, now that our master has been rebooted, we're going to go to our added hardware module. Now, even though we added a hardware module, the Modbus network can be found under networks, then Modbus, Net1, Station 1, and there you can find your hardware card. Now, if we double click on that, we get a new, we get this configurator again, and we go to channels. In this channels space, we're going to add a channel here on the right side. And now there are some things we need to go over. The first thing that we can fill in is your variable name. This can be to your liking. The next one is the data type. This data type, of course, needs to match with the data type you entered on the slave side. Then underneath there are 5 modes. The first one being to read the variable, the second one being to give it write access, the third one being if turned on, this channel will become available in your imported hardware configuration in the PLC developer. And fourth, that is the S variant. If enabled, this variable will become an SVI in your MIO software module. And last but not least, the X variant. This will turn or swap the bits. But of course, we're talking between 2 Bachmann CPUs right now, so that is not necessary. Last but not least, here's the address. In this address, we need to give in if it's a coil, an HREG, an IREG, or anything. Now, an important note here that this is case sensitive. So for example, if we need to add a holding register here, it needs to be written down like this. It is capital sensitive, so if we would write it down like this, it will not work. So just something you need to be aware of. If you're using a holding register, the H and the R are capital. If you're using a coil, the C is a capital. All right, now that I've explained you every option that we need to fill in, we're going to edit one. So give it a name, and then give it the right data type. So our first one was a bool, and we just want to give it read and write access in this example. So the first one is going to be coil 0, and then you've done your first one. For your second one, give it a name, M2, give it the right data type. Now remember, the first one that we made was on HREG 0, but it had a length of 4, meaning that it is a double integer. So this one starts at HREG 0, but the data type is U32. Then next we have a channel which was a length of 2, which means it's a U16, and we need to start at HREG 2 like we discussed before. If we go finish, then that's the setup for the master. Then what we do now is we're going to save this. Now, since it's a hardware card, we do need to reboot this. While this is rebooting, we can restart the software module on the slave, because right now it's still not running. So we right click on it, reset it, and then right click and run it again. As you can see, our Modbus slave side is now running, and we have to wait for our master to reboot. Okay, now that we've set up both our master side and our slave side, we can have a look at the master. So if we go to Networks, Modbus, Net1, and as you can see, the red X is now gone here, and as you can see, it is up and running. So if I open the monitor view and then go to channel information, I can see the actual data that I'm sending via my program. Channel 1 is blinking, and channel 2 and 3 are static values, which we can write. And if we go to the slave, we will see that the values have changed. So we go to variable view, and as you can see, we just wrote 300 to this variable on the slave.